The Battle of Trafalgar, Waterloo, Barnes-Wallis's World War II bouncing bomb. What is their link to these quiet meadows in the southwest corner of Essex? The gunpowder that was used was manufactured here, and with its Grade 1 listed buildings and as a site of special scientific interest, it's an anchor point in the European route of industrial heritage. Yet, its very survival seems under threat. They've actually been making explosive here by the River Lee since at least the 1660s. And they did it so successfully that in 1787 Prime Minister William Pitt's government paid £10,000 to purchase the site for the nation, and Sir William Congreve from Woolwich Arsenal was put in charge to improve technology and safety and to enable the mills to respond successfully to the ever-increasing demands for the product. All went well. The conversion to steam-powered mills by 1857, the ambitious mid-19th century building expansion programme. There were 30 fully operational mills by 1889, and the transition to the production of cordite just before World War I, followed later by TNT and RDX. At the height of production, there were well over 6,000 employees on site, many of them women. The manufacture of explosives finished here in July 1945, but almost immediately the site reopened as the Explosives Research and Development Establishment, ERDA, renamed in 1977 PERMA, the Propellants, Explosives and Rocket Motor Establishment. The site was finally closed by the government in 1991, and 6 years later, the Waltham Abbey Royal Gunpowder Mills Charitable Foundation Limited was established to conserve the site for the public. But it's been a struggle. A tour around the site suggests initially that it's just a collection of disused, broken down buildings. But all this can be deceptive. Numerous information boards point out the key buildings that played a major role in the manufacture of gunpowder and which store the archives today. The mixing room, where the gunpowder ingredients, charcoal, saltpetre and sulphur, received their first preliminary mix. The Grade 1 listed incorporating mill, where a working model gives an idea of how those ingredients were thoroughly incorporated or combined to create an explosive mixture so potentially unstable that the side walls were deliberately weakened so that they would blow out if there were an explosion, leaving the rest of the building intact. Some of the original millstones are scattered around the site. And the drying room, where cordite was dried by steam pipes feeding warm air into the room through here. And there is more to see than just buildings. A genuine Victorian gunpowder press, the watermill, the press itself, and the protective wall between in case of explosion. A hydraulic cordite press stands nearby, built by the Tanguy brothers of Birmingham in 1939. Narrow gauge railways and canals provided transportation across the site. Some of the railway's 18-inch gauge track remains, as indeed does a purpose-built wagon that would have been pushed gently round by hand. Shown here in dark blue, a 5-mile network of navigable canals was created for even smoother transportation. Many remain, and although several are now dried up, others still contain water with their original loading bays alongside. A variety of bridges remain in place to carry one canal over another, and for the staff on foot to cross the water, unusually shaped footbridges purposely designed to accommodate the special boat with their rounded tops. Barrels of explosives would have been loaded on through the side, and the boats gently steered round the site. This preserved and refurbished boat, dating from 1920, is on public display. And there are canal locks. Some do still have water, like this one connecting the site to the River Lee, along which boats, the Lady of the Lee here was one, would take the finished gunpowder from the mill site down to the River Thames and beyond. The older plantation dates from the 18th century, the wood from the trees being used in the manufacture of the charcoal required to make the gunpowder. There is a nature walk which families can follow, or they can ride in one of the various land trains with a guide on hand.
So you can see a piece of the old canal system very clearly here.
These take visitors around the northern part of the site, otherwise closed to the public. Nearby, for children particularly, a miniature railway gives rides, and in the Mad Lab, Professor Nitrate educates and entertains. Indeed, children and school groups are well catered for. Rebranded as the Secret Island, the site appears to make every effort to bring in families.
Why didn't it go back?
3, 2, 1! 3, 2, 1! 3, 2, 1!
So why, with all these attractions, is there a big problem? Well, the site is largely staffed by volunteers and its opening hours are limited. No one from the site would appear on camera, but it's reported that although the educational classrooms are used by around 9,000 school children every year, otherwise only 25,000 or so people visit the site in a year, and there is an annual loss of as much as £400,000. It plainly needs considerable investment and regeneration, and leasing parts of the site for commercial development would indeed create income. PGL Travel Company Limited, who provide activity holidays and camps for school children, want to lease most of the site, shown here in green, and including the main car park, the Queensmead open space, and the Grade 1 incorporating mill, leaving the area in blue for visitors. A few buildings near the entrance and the heavily wooded northern section that has contamination issues and no utilities. Much to the despair of volunteers, a rare example of a surviving World War I factory would be demolished and public access restricted. Understandably, there were considerable local protests, and in June 2016, Epping Forest District Council rejected PGL's plans. PGL could appeal, of course, so as the Waltham Abbey Royal Gunpowder Mills prepares its programme for 2017, its longer-term future remains shrouded in uncertainty.